to working, but it's the best I could do right now. So I just wanted, but as long as people can see you, once it comes up,
That's all good.
yeah, I'll just be like, mainly you talking. But how you feeling, bro? It's been too long, man. How's
Man,
everything?
yeah, I can't complain, man. Just out here keeping busy with this music. You know me. You
What?
know me.
Yeah, man. You the man. Where were you as of recent?
Uh, I was out in I was out in New Mexico, like just recent. Uh, Out there in Santa Fe Jazz Fest. Did a quick little appearance out there. Was in Oklahoma City with Mark Whitfield. Uh, Supposed to be in Vermont, but
Yeah, I saw
hey,
Diallo.
yeah, things didn't work out like we how we planned. But I was with my brother Corcoran Hope in DC at this outdoor festival. Yeah, it was pretty nice. And you know, around the city, I'm back for a little bit now. Gonna be going out again, West Coast, back to the Midwest. Blah blah blah. You know,
Midwest
got some things.
with
Like
who?
Michigan, like
With
it'll be me
nice.
with some cats from around the way, which is yet to be put together yet, but that's in the mix.
Sounds
That's in the
exciting,
mix.
man. Brooklyn Circle.
Oh yeah, we as well as us too. We going out to Cali next month, so that'd be fun. Be up in San
Amazing,
Francisco. Yeah, it's gonna
amazing,
be nice. Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro.
man.
So what's
So
going on?
yeah, man. To start it off, man, I just want to say, like, you're one of the first people that I saw in New York City play live with the Ben Wolf Quintet. You and Nick Payton, Ben
Yeah.
Wolf, and my man, what's his name on drums? Always plays with Ben. Uh,
Was that Donald?
say who?
Donald? Was it
Donald
Donald
Edwards.
Edwards?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man.
My
Like that
brother.
that stuff really welcomed me to New York, man. And you're one of the people that I consider you're one of the people that I consider to be the hardest working, jazz musician in New York City. I see you everywhere, bro. There's no place in New York City or the world that I don't see Stacy Dillard, man. I think you're a pillar for the New York
And
jazz
it's true.
community, man. I think, it's like every time I see you, you always got a smile on your face. Like, I feel like you're the epitome of what a jazz musician should be in 2023, bro.
I appreciate that, brother. There's a lot coming from you.
Hey, man, truly, and so I start the conversation by, asking you, man, like what led you to New York City, and like how have you found coming to New York City and making that your new home, and like what is it like for you now being a veteran?
Mm. What got me here, the obvious history, the reputation, you know, uh, you know, of course, you want to go to a place like that when you have this location that's considered the place to be for your particular craft. And I was met with a lot of uncertainty at first because worried about my own development and like where I was, could I even cut it in a place like this, you know? But I just remember the day when I was in Dayton, Ohio, man, and went and showed up. Went Marcellus showed up, and like all the Jazz Lincoln Center cats at the time. This was like 2002. This is like August 2002, you know, and they all showed up, and Myron Waldo was there. He was a guest on the gig. He was it was James Gator's trio featuring Myron Waldo. So me and my boys, we all shot down to this spot, Pacha in Dayton, to check it out. So they all sat in. We ended up sitting in, you know, and and went and had, really good things to say, about how it sounded. And then we ended up talking like for a couple hours, And he gave me his numbers. If you ever think about coming to New York, give me a call the day you get there. I was like, okay, bet, that's what's up. So, that was this huge boost right there because you know, all these, like, the room is filled with these New York cats, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden. and uh and I was able to kind of chop it up, and yeah, it did a lot for my confidence. So then I just made a move. Long story short, 1 month later, I was there. I ain't never visit, nothing. I just moved, and it's been 21 years, and it's been a great growth, great this great ride. It's what I asked for. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like musical development and all that stuff. You feel me? And now I mean, I just got. It's funny because how time flies. So yeah, I'm like one of the vets now. But you know, but that's how it is. But I still got that 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 youthful eagerness too to see what's new, see what's up, see what can be done. You know. So yeah, it's and I just love this place, man. All the different kinds of energies, all the different people, like all these different personalities get to come together, and everybody gets to be themselves, and this is what happens. You know, I can get with that, and that's what it's been. It's a lot of things to complain about that we all have, of course. You know, it's all the good stuff, bad stuff. It's like a soup. You get it, put it in the pot, stir it up, and it tastes good to me. So here we are.
Man, that's a beautiful story. And unlike most people, you came in without visiting first. You know what I mean? Like you didn't even know
Hmm.
it was that it was gonna be something that you would have fell in love with like that. Did you even know that at first?
Nah, man. I just knew I had to come to it.
Hmm.
I knew I had to see it. I had my man Martin Kelly, man. Big shout out to him, tenor sax, Martin Kelly, out there in Queens. You know, that was my big bro in college when I was coming in, he was upperclassman already, graduated senior. So he the one that gave me the opportunity to have a place to stay. So I took it, and yeah, I've been here since.
Wow.
And that was like September '02, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how yeah, just worked out that way.
Well, man, that's deep, man. And uh, through your time being in New York City, you've seen a lot of music pass through. Like, I had how you said, like, you're able to like see what's new and what's going on in the current day when it comes to music. Like, how have you seen, like the younger generation of musicians coming in, and how have you seen like the music change or whatever thing you would notice throughout the generations that come in, and that's also older and younger, like people like Roy Hargrove, but also younger musicians that are coming in with the sound. Like, what did you notice the most about that kind of thing in New York City?
As far as the change over time that I've been here,
Yeah.
correct?
Yep.
Well, keep in mind, I'm like on that last, like one of them last generations that experienced life without social media, you know, without being able to do this, what we're doing right now. I'm holding the phone up and doing this. This is crazy, but beautiful. But it's a difference because, like the way we learned how to do things was just different, as well as the music business itself. you know, you got this outlet now to where you can pretty much broadcast to the world whenever you want to, and uh, and that brings up a lot of like singular voice. So you don't, you know, and it's becoming more and more a faint thing to hear bands play, you know, uh, and to and then of course young people, you know, I mean, just like with anybody when they were young, they need that time to explore and to grow, you know. So because any young generation, probably it could be something said about them, probably with the exception of like the very beginning, you know, because they didn't have any kind of filtration. They didn't have any, you know, the art came before the school, it came before the business. So, you know, once upon a time, they didn't have to deal with any of that stuff. And so it's just a change in it's I mean, I don't know, I don't know if I can call it you know, a change, to be honest, but it's a way that it vibrates a little differently. Maybe that's because um I'm I'm just older now, and I've dealt with things. Uh, I've dealt with things through the lens of being 20 and through the lens of being 30 and in the 40s. You know, which they all tend to change. If I'm being honest with myself, and yeah, but that's why I like to like hit with these young cats because they you know because they're still like you know like very spongy to where they taking everything in because there's a lot of you know a lot of younger groups of cats that I work with like Wilfie Williams and Keely Bradley and all these cats and like I mean Marius Vandenbrink you know and you know a bunch of young brothers Miguel Russell uh you know Sebastian Rios you know oh man David Hawkins you know it's a long list of the cats that's you know that's coming in that and you're like, you know, you even a big bro too, you know? So,
Absolutely, man. First
you
and
know what I
foremost,
mean?
sir.
So, you know, it's, I don't know. It's just, the difference is like, you know, I hope it's important to do this stuff live for a lot of people because now you can make a lot of money just sitting in your bedroom all day and doing this. But, you know, that's the only difference. But I really can't say it's the individuals because once they immerse into the scene, they kind of just naturally do what's there. So when you go to Smalls, what they doing? They're playing the music. You know, is it hitting a certain way? No, well, it's a jam sessions, you know. And that's a bunch of people that if you don't recognize them, they probably don't recognize each other either. But we expecting this group sound to be there and you know, I'm just patient when it ain't. And I try to slide in whenever I can, you know, try to non-verbally say something, you know, just to, you know, then afterwards, guys ask me some questions, I answer, you know. But social media is gonna be the difference, if anything.
Wow, man, it's so deep to hear you talk about this because this is a natural or a common problem, people have, right, with just technology and like the usage of technology and the disconnection from, the actual human connection. And I'm also trying to also see from your standpoint, do you feel like the community was there? Was it stronger before the technology came about, like phones and stuff? Like what was the scene like then and what was the scene like now with Instagram and Facebook and all this kind of stuff?
See, yeah, I'm gonna say stronger before because everything was stronger before. in terms of people to people interaction. You know, it was a whole lot different. Uh, it was like, but then again, you know, this is all this can be contributed to society in general, because you know a lot of people are told you're not a kid anymore. You got to grow up. You got to do this. You got to be this way. You got to be that way. No, no, no. Yeah, I understand that. I'm not saying to screw that, but I don't think that you have to necessarily shed a side of you, like you're not a kid anymore. Shed the kid in you. The kid in you is the oldest, most experienced one in you. Like, don't cut that off, and then that's the one that's up for continuous growth and learning. That's what that represents to me, and just the joy for what it is, not being childish, but for you know, like how easy it is for kids to learn a language or the multiple languages, as opposed to somebody like me right now. It's that thing, you know. Like, don't just as long as you don't let that go, and then you know you'll be able to see kind of evenly as you grow, like comparing these 10 years to the last 10 years to the previous 10 years, and then like, but I'm speaking on it now, not speaking from my 30-year-old mind, not speaking from my 20-year-old mind. uh how much new the experiences was at the time. And then when you get used to things, your outlook changes a little bit too. But that, I mean, all these things are present, but in this city is less of that than than most places, you know, because it's so vast and it's so big, and you know, it's easy. It's really easy for an individual. It's easier for an individual than in most places to be an individual. You know what I mean? And that that freedom helps, and it goes a long way. And but yeah, before social media, things were just way different. Uh, you know, like, just like, imagine if you had beef with somebody. Now all you gotta do is send a tweet, and they get it. But like, if you actually had beef with a celebrity, you had to like find out like where to send the letter to, or through the mail, or what, however many layers you got to go through to get a phone call or something like that, because it wasn't that easy. And like, when you made appointments with people, you know meet me next week here at 3 p.m. That's what people did. you know but the cell phones increased the flaky factor, and I am totally guilty of it. But so it just a lot changed, because the better and better this technology get, the more and more we're going to be less reliant on what we're able to do with our own brains, because you're letting everything do it for you. Because I remember, like, before all this stuff, we used to remember all the phone numbers. You know, you'd be driving your car, look at your road map, drive across the country, stop at a payphone, put a couple quarters in, make a phone call. Well, no GPS, we was out. We was gone. They had no problems finding wherever we wanted to go. You get lost sometimes, but then you find a way. You get lost with the GPS too. But
Exactly.
it's just different. It's just different. I'm glad I was able to see that difference. You know, I'm glad I was able to see it. I'm glad I'm able to kind of be able to notice a red flag when it's a red flag. in whatever area, you know. But
Yeah.
it's very useful. Don't get it twisted. It's still very useful, you know. But just don't let it use you.
Mm, mm. Man, that's deep to think about. A part of me is like, we could use it, we can utilize it so that we can become better at what we do, right? And it's like it's up to us as
Hmm.
musicians to make that decision, or as artists to make that decision, so that we do it in a way that's in moderation and not obsessive.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yep. And you know, and not like sacrifice uh, you know, certain things about yourself, not for the sake of a few likes and a few, some false admiration and all that kind of shit. People get caught up in the wrong reasons, and that's all. That's all. I mean, you see with like certain people with the like I don't know how staged a lot of this stuff is, but like the pranks and like of the total strangers and some people I'm sure got dealt with a lot, and that's why you ain't seeing these videos because they couldn't put them up because everything got smashed or something. I got God forbid. I'm not wishing this on anybody, but folks gotta be careful. You know, it's like everything's like a video game now to a lot of people, and it's up to us to step in and be like, when you can help it, you know, you can help it
Exactly.
with yourself. So that's that's really my only worry, man. It's just the power of this, of the wrong side. Because, like I said, it's a great tool.
Man, yeah.
I'm
Definitely,
done.
definitely pays to think about. Do you think through that, like, we're losing the culture if we like fall into these traps of like, I'm talking about jazz, and maybe you could talk a little bit about like what you feel like the culture, is, and like, do you feel like by us like falling short or maybe trying to go into these like traps of like, oh, selling something that's really not the music, or like not really being ourselves, in relationship to the music, and for people to really get a sense for what it is. Like, what do you think about that, man?
Oh, that's real talk, man. Because I mean, we in a time right now where it's so easy to be canceled by just saying what you really feel. It's like what when did the world become so unfair to a lot of people and their beliefs and there's certain people that get to push the buttons and pull the levers, you know, and 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 people not being able to just speak their piece, you know. And then in a lot of cases, it's like the truth about this music, man, that it's all about at the core, man, it's about conviction. It's about conviction, it's about self-awareness. It's about, you know, connection with nature. It's about connection with yourself. It's and you putting all that together and then you're doing the musical steps, necessary in order to be able to put all that out. Because more and more people are taught to reach out and pull the information in when in essence, what you really gotta do, well, in the beginning, what they did was reach in and pull that shit out. You feel me? And it's like we're just like we're forgetting to include that part of it because like if that's the case, why does John Coltrane and Coleman Hawkins sound so different? Why don't they sound the same? If you gave them both the same saxophone that wasn't either one of theirs, why would they sound so different on the same horn? Why? You know, what is, what is that? Same thing for trumpet players. Line them up, drummers, same thing. Anybody. But when you think about when you think about the more influential musicians you heard, and and then when you do a little research on the backstory, you know, they say like, why do you like the good question is why do you play that way? Not how, but why? You know, these things. You know, it, it's it's still cats out here that know what time it is. So there's a lot of us out here, and I don't expect, you know, like this to be on a mainstream platform. But as long as people like this are still around, then the history will live. You know, as long as I'm alive, it's gonna live. We just need people to just say that and do that, and there's a lot of cats doing that. You know, you know, there's a lot of brothers out here doing just that. Yep, yep.
Powerful, man.
And as long as, hmm?
It's powerful. I didn't mean to cut what you were saying, but
Mm-hmm. It's all good, But that's that's the thing, man. Conviction. Like, mean what you say, especially when you play. Mean that shit, because it'll feel different, you know. And and improvising, you know, when you hear a lot of cloning going on. I can't say though. I gotta say though, it's kind of. I think it's declining a little bit. The clonage, which is a good thing, you know, which is a good thing. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about some of the young cats I've been hearing lately, you know, and it ain't coming out the same cookie cut, which is appreciated.
oh man, that sounds hopeful.
Yeah, yeah, it is, it is, it is, and there's some good young composers out here too, boy. I've been reading a lot of cool music lately. Yeah, so you know, it ain't it ain't lost. It won't be.
Right.
We ain't ever gonna get that far. Yeah,
Yeah,
I see that, and so will you.
exactly, man. I so connect with your point about the fact that if there's enough people exemplifying what that real thing is, then like, it continues
Hmm.
to live, right? And the legacy continues to go on
Hmm.
through that. And it's interesting
Right.
because sometimes I'm not sure if it's because people don't have access to enough, examples of what that looks like to kind of know what the right path is from the beginning,
Hmm.
or is it people just are like I don't care enough to even go that far to know. You know what I mean?
Well, if it's going to be both. It's going to be both. But I can't. It's going to be both. Cause and the way you'll be able to tell is when you experience said individual. You know, because it's not that easy as easy to just say, like all y'all are this way or all y'all are that way, because it's a combination of both actually. So it's I mean come on, you know how America is,
Yeah.
and it's a cultural difference, you know so when you know, very seldom do you see the percentage. You know, let me rephrase this. You know, it's like, nah, man, you got to read the real live room. You know, I'm not ain't nothing wrong with. I love playing balance. I love playing fast. I love playing medium. I love just tipping. I love I love to play, man. Period. You know, so you just get to see. You know, it's like the difference between like like it's no course in school saying like how to feel out an audience. You know, the emergency. Uh-oh, all the music was lost, and now you guys got to wing it. But you start in 3 minutes. What are you gonna do? You know, and then you just sift this crowd out. You know, get a feeling for the vibe, this, that, and the other, and that comes with time too. Then you able just just put some stuff together with and paying attention with the guys that's in your unit, guys or the ladies that's in your unit. You know, so it's all doable. It's all doable.
You know, that raises an important point, man. You know, I think that's something you can't teach. You can't teach someone how to read the crowd, but we can at least,
Hmm.
like there should be something out there, right? There should be something that gives guys, people like a little like a sense of what that looks like.
Well, you got like the field trips that some of these schools will go to, and they get to go to the jazz club and watch 2 sets of Bang Bang, and uh, you know, and take notes. It's like, man, they're on assignment. It's like they're academically listening. Instead of just taking that shit in like the person's like 2 rows away from them. We're just there vibing out. And,
Hmm.
yeah, it's just different. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's just it's not gonna lead to the it's it's still an ingredient missing, and it's important.
Yeah,
and
very.
it's and it's and it's and it's not part of the mix what you got there. So yeah, I just put it that way.
That's real,
But I
man.
get it. You know, yeah.
Wow.
This is funny. It's funny how people you got to be so careful nowadays with answering questions or even asking them. You know, and that can you know be a monkey wrench in one's creativity as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because it's like remember we improvise. You know, improvise. You know, like on the spot. You know, we're not playing written solos. you know, let it out. You know, everybody out there that's ever had fun playing music, remember that feeling and copy it and bring that mindset everywhere you go. And trust yourself. Trust yourself and have faith in other people that neither you or them are assholes. So just play. Play your heart out. Don't be nervous. I know it's easy to say. And at the same time, you can make your moves. You know, position yourself, brand yourself, do all the things that you would do. I get it, but don't forget what's at the core, man. You know, yeah. We want this shit to live forever. And the way you live forever is to if you mean what you said in the first place.
Mm,
There it is.
the truest words, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the shed. The truest words, man. Honestly, that encapsulates everything that like we stand for, and like how you put it is it really puts a really simplistic way for people to look at it and to really go about it that way and to find meaning in it that way. Just by
Mm-hmm.
meaning what you meant the first time. Because that'll always
Yeah.
you know that'll always be the thing that keeps you going, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no
Mm-hmm.
loss. There's no feeling of loss. There's a feeling of meaning of it's a feeling of meaning, and when you do,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you know,
Yeah. And, and and like every time you move forward, you know, you see more that you gotta learn. It's great. So I vow to get until you know physically I can't do stuff when that age comes. Well, bro, I'm gonna get every year I'm gonna be better than last year, and that's just because in some way or the other I'm gonna be better than last year.
yeah,
And I love the fact that that's doable. You know, I love the fact that that's doable, and I love the fact that how it happens. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Wow, man. You know,
yeah.
uh, this takes us to our next point because, I wanted to talk to you mainly about like that kind of thing, man, because I feel like people really need to hear that from someone who's been around the New York scene, and has played everywhere in New York City and has networked with a lot of people in New York City. I feel like you have a good sense of people that are interested in coming to New York City. Like you're someone that can
Mm-hmm.
them like, hey, this is what you're gonna have to expect. Like this is what you're gonna have to deal with when you get there. And I think for me, before we get to me asking you about shedding, like
Mm-hmm.
like if there's anybody that want to get to New York City, and if you had something to tell them about, hey, this is what you got to look forward to as a jazz musician, et cetera, what would that be? And lastly, uh, what's community to you, and what do you feel like? What do you feel of that in jazz in New York City?
Mm, okay. So I'm gonna start with the first one, man. Like if you come in here to, to live here, one thing you're gonna have to be armed with is a bit of patience, and even if you the you know unless you're the baddest thing since sliced cheese or something, and those come through town. Some people come to town announced, but if you come to town unannounced, like me, I got here. People like, who's that? Oh, what's up, y'all? I'm Stacy. You know, but I, you know, what I did was I, I listened a lot. I paid attention a lot. People thought I was quiet when I first got to town, but I was not quiet. I was just in places where I didn't know anybody. So I'm not about to be out here acting like I know everybody or that everybody should know me, you know. So I was just chilling and keep playing. Like I'm showing my face. Like I'm not limiting myself to. I mean, I was all over the place. Like literally, if it was music going on, I was checking it out, and not just limited to jazz either. I was all over the place. And then as time goes, people start to remember you, and you still, of course, getting better at your craft because this is what this is about, you know. And but you're patient. You're patient. But the more you make it, the more I place myself out there, being a horn player, it's different for bass players, because they gonna, if you can play some bass, try to get put on faster than most, and that's just how it goes. But like for horn players, it's another. So I gradually just kept grinding it out, grinding it out, grinding it out, grinding it out, grinding it out. Still, staying on what I came in with, and in terms of thought process, you know what I'm saying? So, um, damn, what was I about to say? As far as thought process. So, yeah, I would just say, especially, I'm gonna reiterate patience, because that's really the thing. Of course, it's gonna be a point where you're gonna say, well, something's gotta give, all right? You just gotta make it happen. But we talking about being here and living and surviving here and growing here, because opportunity to grow here is great, far greater than most other places. So you got something to take advantage of. And then in the meantime, just come back so you can stay here and get that until it turns into the right situations. And then you take advantage and then you go from there. A lot of people's done it, a lot of people doing it. But yeah, when you first get in here, yeah, just you say, what's that period? Well, it depends. But don't expect to be in town for a year and everybody gonna know you, because the town too big for that. So I'll start you off with that. You know what I'm
Yeah, that
saying? And then your second point, what'd you say? What was the second question?
what's community?
Because it was a
What
two-part
community
question.
do and how do you feel about that in terms of the jazz community today, and do you feel like we're upholding that, etc.?
Big time. Because as much of a like a lone wolf I could be sometimes, I definitely got a musical family here, and it's it's spread out. But like I'm gonna use like the bands that I personally lead. I'm gonna use that crew as an example, and you know, my it's like a certain criteria, camaraderie amongst the band means a whole lot in terms of what the music is going to end up being like. You know, it's that team aspect. you know, and it's I love when I can hang out with musicians, and when we hang out, we don't ever talk about music. You know, I mean, we do sometimes, but for the most part, that ain't what we doing. That ain't what we doing. But when time to hit, when it's time to work out, we in there. But you know, and having a band where I don't aim to make this happen, but I just been fortunate enough to where this has been happening. And I see the importance of it. Like when you're in a band and every single person every single person in the band represented by a letter. Cat A, Cat B, Cat C, Cat D, Cat E. All these cats, everybody vibe with vibe with C, vibe with B, like a transitive property almost. If you want to go algebraic with it. But it's it's like when that happens, you know, it's kind of cool. It it in the music is it makes one let go easier, knowing that if you fall back, with your arms spread, you fall back, you're gonna be caught. You jump off the stage, you're gonna get caught. It's like that's what like when cats get to know each other on a personal level, it that's fuel for music. Music is, your music ain't gonna go beyond your relationship, whether it's the relationship with yourself or this relationship with the other musicians. The music will not go beyond that because the music is just a perfect mirror. It'll show you what you want to show. It'll probably show what you're trying to hide too. So that's all it is. But like, look at Brooklyn Circle, man. Look at me and like C5 back in the day. Me, Beam, Salim, JD Allen, Ryan Weaver, Ryan Berg, Fred McNano,
Yep.
all the contributors to that. Shout out to Janelle Hill down in DC, you know, Alan Johnson, Corcoran Hope, all the people that's dealt with this thing, you know. Um, like one thing that can be said is that like at any given time you can see any one of us probably just kicking it. Even though, like especially from the core here, and it was always like that, It was always like that. And it was, and it showed in the music. Oh, George Burton. Let me put what's up, George? He was part of the crew, but it was a short stay because you know, people ended up moving out of town and this, that, and other, blah, 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 there. But anyway, um, yeah, so that whole community thing. Um, Orrin Evans is an excellent example of that. If
Mm.
you ask me, he is the cat at getting a bunch of people together and say, like, let's say it could be like, hey man, what we doing? I don't know yet. All right. All right, guys, we start minutes. And then when we hit, yeah, baby, we in there. you know, Frank Lacey, certain cats know how to do that. Just really, yeah, man. You know, just like that. That ain't, and Roy was that dude. You know,
Yep.
for that too. You know, so yeah, bro, it was, yeah, but community, camaraderie, yeah, very important because you know everybody's a limb on the body, and it's like if your left leg don't know your right leg, you probably gonna end up tripping and falling a lot.
Yep.
But y'all got to work together to be one. Y'all got to work together to be one being, one fluid being. You know, the band should be able to do cartwheels collectively. You know what I'm saying?
It's like that
You
thing
know?
when people say like, like I don't have to put it, I don't have to say it out loud, but everybody know. Like,
Yeah, no, you ain't gotta say nothing. You ain't gotta say nothing. Yeah, yeah, bro. We talk so much on stage without words, and man, especially when I'm playing with Bean. He man, oh that cat man. Yeah, it's oh man, you talk about communication.
Woo.
Like I know who he talking to if he ain't talking to me.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, golly, okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. You know, he kind of, he kind of, he kind of taught me how to do that. Actually,
Mm.
if I'm gonna be real with it, yeah, he kind of taught me how to do that. He taught me orchestra too. Just let that be what it is. You know, he, yeah, a drummer. That cat, well, he will, yeah, being serious
Love Bean, man.
in a
Yeah,
lot, in a lot of ways that people don't have a clue about.
yeah,
You know, people say he's too loud sometimes. He's loud. Like, man, please. I ain't ever heard a drummer play soft
yep.
that like it's like you got a CD and you turn it all the way down to point 0.5. You know, they still hitting, but it's just real low volume. That cat can do that.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, let me stick to this. And that's my family right there.
Right.
So yeah, yeah, and that's why I like to hang out. And because you know, it ain't that many of us on this planet that chose to do this, that chose to live like this. You know, so when I see people like me, I instantly want to embrace them. That's just how I am, and I want everybody to be cool. Unfortunately, some of the cats are assholes, so I can't do nothing for them. And then you got the ones that's cool, and I can do something for them. That's just how I go. But yeah, look here, good
Wow.
times.
Good times, man. Good times.
Hashtag good times. Right now, right now.
Exactly.
You know, you know.
Wow, man.
All you gotta do is decide.
Yeah. Man, I think that's one of the things people that first moved to New York, I feel like most people can attest to the fact that you're one of the guys that always embrace the newcomers, the cats that's been around. Like you always embrace the people that, share this like life path. You know what I'm saying? And I think, we need more people like you out here. You know what I'm saying?
It would be, I mean, and it is.
Yeah.
It's it's just that the difference between me, I'm not like I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm the only one doing this. It's just me. No, it's just
Yeah.
maybe I bounce around more than they do.
Got
Like in terms of especially locally speaking.
yeah.
Not in terms of like where you travel and all that stuff, because they kicking my ass in that. But but as far as like in the city, yeah, I probably I might have been there. you know,
Yeah.
you know. And then when you go places, you see a lot of times you see people that you don't see in A, B, and C and D place. And it's very seldom that I go to a place and see the same person
Hmm.
there. But you know, like and like every step of the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that's all.
man.
So I ain't putting nobody down and nothing like that.
I mean, there's definitely people out
Like,
there.
go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
No, but you're right. I do think, you're definitely, like I was saying in the beginning, you're everywhere, man. I see you everywhere, and I think that's part of
Mhm.
the reason why, you know, you have that presence about you when it comes to the New York City scene, um, especially the New York jazz
Mm.
community. But all around the world, people know you, and you play all around the world. But it's like that takes energy too, man. Like, like after a while of being in New York, it's like imagine, you always out there, you checking it out, you checking the new cats, like that takes, effort, and sure that it's also connected to the fact that you love the music, and you know, so
Hmm.
yeah.
It's that, and it's always something to learn. You know what I like to do a lot. I like to go to a jam session sometimes that's just not happening in terms of energy. It's like you can look at everybody's face. Everybody looks like somebody forced them to be here. I look at that as a challenge, or like if the bass player plays way behind the beat and the drummer plays way on top of the beat, and they refuse to find some middle ground together. I like to be a person that step in and lay it down, and then have everybody, like I look at that as a as a test. You know, it's it's it 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 helps for when I'm playing my own music, and then if I want to communicate something to the cats, it's like playing in those situations made me learn how to speak that language better, to where, like, just certain musical cues that mean like this is the last time, or two more times, or you know or you know drop out with me, or or build up with me, like to be able to play something and say those things without turning around and giving any kind of